well,
accurate.
heard it here first. It's not bullying if two people are doing it.
I don't think that's how it works.
No, I don't think it is either. So, hello everybody, and welcome to Crabby D&D. I am here with Beau,
Hello.
Cat,
Yo.
Kirv,
Hello.
and Vinny.
Hello.
A Romulus will be joining us at some point in the near future. He is a little bit delayed, and we'll be hearing from a Mortar in a little bit longer of a future. Probably in about an hour or so, just because he has work still, unfortunately. So,
Boo.
I know. Capitalism sucks. So, let us begin, shall we? Welcome back. Glad to have you all here after a week off. But I think a quick reminder as to what exactly happened previously is in order. Last time, our party of adventurers, Beau, Cat, Kirv, Mortar, Romulus, and Vinny, had taken some time to chat and rest. You came up with a general game plan for what you were going to be doing in the week ahead, with the court so close. Some minor scouting, possibly working to find out if the court is skewed or biased, and discover a few things about yourselves. Before this could all fall into place, however, Mortar had a rather interesting request, and goaded Romulus into a fight, a test of each other's strengths and skills. With some back and forth nature to the combat, Romulus ultimately came out on top. Mortar was given this chance to let off some steam, but tension still clung to the air around all of you. A moment of stress relief, not entirely doing its job. With some light conversations on this matter, Thamar creates the teleportation circle before you, and all of you leave, stepping through it, and arriving at Gomuldur. With the portal sparking to life, and all of you stepping through one after another, a moment of weightlessness before you find your feet, nearly a second later, landing on the hardened stone floor interior of this teleportation chamber. Dwarven guards and stone gargoyle sentinels otherwise all turn to face you as you do arrive, before Thamar puts up his hand and all of them kind of stand back at attention, no longer aggressive towards your group, as everybody but Thamar had to go through first. As Thamar arrives, the guards nod, and all of you are ushered up the set of stairs to a large foyer-like building. The pressure and the air in here feels a little bit more stale than you would like. For those of you who aren't used to high altitudes, such as Romulus, this feels a bit heavier on the chest for all of you. It's denser, it's muggier, it's not quite what you would like or feel comfortable walking around in. As you enter into this large foyer, you can see these hanging braziers with fire that are otherwise kind of crackling above. You can see that there are these almost long trenches along the side that are kind of flowing with this light yellowy liquid, and
Piss?
Oh, yes! 2 campaigns, 2 piss, baby.
what
I'm
is it with
sorry.
you two?
You said yellow liquid.
Yeah,
What else could it be?
honestly. There's nothing else that's yellow in this world.
It makes sense why Kirv's background is yellow now.
What?
What?
No.
Kirv's background has always been yellow. Now we know what she gets up to in her spare time.
I'm
So-
a piss
God.
girl.
Aw.
Aw,
You brought this on yourself.
I did.
So, the room is otherwise well lit. Otherwise a single kind of runner carpet leads from this to the center of the chamber, where it splits off in a crossroads heading to the right, the left, and further onwards. You can see a staircase has been cut out of the interior of this chamber, so there's only a rail that acts as a support, as it seems to be just carved into the building's foundations, curving upwards to a floor above, where you can see there is only a little hole in the center which would overlook this main chamber. There are a number of guards, there are a number of other individuals about who are just wandering to and from, and as your strange troop arrives, this is Dwarven territory, and you can tell, as the majority of individuals here are in fact Dwar. Theomar continues on forward. Do the rest of you follow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You follow Theomar as he travels straight ahead. Straight away from this, he leaves this main foyer chamber into what looks to be a smaller kind of corridor that leads forward before splitting off to the right and left. As you reach the intersection, he turns right and heads into what looks to be a small waiting room, where you can see a series of individuals kind of flipping through papers are currently there. And as he enters, one of them looks up and goes, "Ah, Theomar, welcome. Glad to see that you brought them all on time." As he stands and steps over, "It is a pleasure to meet all of you. I am your... Defense would be a bit of a strong term. I'm more here to make sure that everything is in order and that you are proceeding accordingly with the court rules."
Which would be...
You were all handed manuscripts, from what I understand. And Theomar nods. "Indeed, I made sure they all had the manuscripts and details of the court hearings, rules, and the outline of what happens on their bedside table, and encouraged them to read it. Should you choose not to, that is on you."
Right.
I didn't say
I mean,
anything about smoking. Am I allowed to smoke in the court?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Cat would have read that, but I don't. Did I ever receive any information from that?
So, you would know that the general proceedings is that the time before your official hearing is when witnesses will be taken and they'll give eyewitness accounts, their experience with the person and the event at hand, if they were present. After which, each of you will be questioned based on a series of questions that they have otherwise outlined as what is important based on the conversations they've had with other individuals. And then ultimately they will come to a verdict regarding Cat. Given that Cat is not a full adolescent individual yet, Theomar will be standing in as your parental figure, even though Romulus might object. Otherwise, he is your adopted father as opposed to your bloodline grandfather.
Yeah, that's understandable.
The individual here is more just to make sure that none of you cross a line or otherwise cause any offence or harm to the court system as it stands. Any evidence that you wish to give, if it's a eyewitness testimony or anything similar, you are allowed to say what you would like when it comes down to it, but you must answer all questions put to you truthfully. Any skirting around the issue, if they do not feel like an answer is given satisfactorily, they will assume the worst in that criteria. And this is based on each of the individual judges and spokespeople who are attending the court. So, let's say, for example, they ask Cat, simple question, did you do it? And Cat says, well, kind of, but no. They will take that as a, yes, she did this and she meant to do it. Because you're skirting around giving them a proper answer, if you choose to then not clarify.
Okay, so I need to make sure everything is clarified on my end.
Yeah.
Because
The same.
there's going to be a lot of sort of, but not really.
Yeah. Some of the questions aren't. That's obviously a very blunt version of it. There are a lot more. In terms of the questions they'll ask, as you've read through the book, I'll say that you know that a lot of the questions they'll typically ask, some of them will be relevant, some of them won't, and it'll be more based on the eyewitnesses that they have taken prior to to interviewing you all. And for you in this instance, Beau, as much as you didn't read, you might have read it, but you might not have. I'd say that Kat, you know that Beau is excused as a party witness because he has not been with the group very long, should he not wish to give a testimony.
Okay.
So yes, I am your not quite defendant, but let's say spokesperson to make sure guide might be a better term for you in this instance. Someone who will assist in making sure that everything is under control and within regulation.
Okay.
All right then. That being the case, I look forward to working with you.
Oh, my apologies. I am Progo Stingwort.
Progo Stingwort.
I look
Stingwort.
so vacant with that.
Stingwort.
Prostingwart.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. I got his name right the first time. Damn. Chris just slip him.
Don't worry. I have all of the spokespeople here. You're going to struggle with some of their names.
Oh, cool. Can't wait. Good. I was worried. Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'll hold out a tentacle.
He looks at it before shaking it. It is a pleasure. And I've read through most of your case so far. I don't necessarily see there being any particular issue, as this is a inherited curse in the nature of how it has been pronounced, and given that there haven't been any major incidences outside of what Unveki has otherwise let us know in regards to the curse that he had to inform us of during his annual workings, and you being his student and such. Outside of that, not hearing any major events other than what happened in Glasson recently, from the spokesperson and witness keeper from there, along with the mentions from, and he kind of turns around and goes through his notes and just kind of begins to look over. Where was it? From your eyewitness in Glasson. She's already arrived and given her testimony. Come here. There we go. Along with that from Nexor and also from a Carvern as well.
Oh, she's up and looks over at Vinny. She's up.
They all gave
That's good to hear.
They all gave their eyewitness testimonies to the events that took place. Although, obviously, Carvern's, from what I understand, was a little bit harder to work with because she wasn't fully conscious the whole time. But anyway, I've read through your case file. You don't have too much to worry about. Just answer the questions truthfully. Don't skirt around the issues, and if you try to mingle too much with wordplay, they'll most likely just move on to the next question and take the word as the worst one that could be there. So, answer bluntly. They will do the judging.
Okay.
That's my straight out the window.
What exactly are they judging?
Judging whether you are a threat. So, just to be polite, but also get the point across, they're judging to make sure that if it's likely that you will end up releasing the creature intentionally or not, that should that happen, are there fail-safes in play? If not, is there anything they can do to assist with that? If there's things that you need to achieve in order to rid yourself of this curse, what are they? If you don't know, what research can we assist with? if there's a situation of the creature will inevitably break free regardless, is there anything we can do to prevent that, and so on. Questions that will be asked accordingly. Some will be brutal because they need to know the full truths. If, for example, and he puts up his hands almost like apologetically, if killing you will destroy the creature that could potentially break free, if that is an option that we could potentially use as a last resort, we would need to know. But again, this is they want to get a general understanding so they know how to react. The last thing they need is a world-ending threat that shows up and might try to do something to attack everyone. Dwarves are known for going underground and leaving for several hundred years if need be, but we don't particularly want to do that if we can afford it. We don't want to be coming back to the fallout of whatever this thing is.
Yeah, that's fair. Besides, I don't think hiding underground is going to save you from this thing. It corrupts the ground.
Well, that's the kind of information we would be looking for. Things to note in that regard. What exactly does it do, and so on. They'll ask all the questions they need to know, and they'll get from it. We've already had a look through the manuscripts as detailed of what evidence we have picked up thus far from your grandfather and the documents he's gained, along with a few research notes on the matter of what the creature is hypothesized to be. But again, there's very little evidence in that regard.
Yeah, they understand that. Okay, well, that doesn't sound like it's going to be too overwhelming, so...
It will be fine, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I will give the answers as best I can. I am currently just running through the testimonies and such, and if there's any testimony or witness that any of you would like to give, you are more than welcome to talk to me, and we can sit down and write a few things up to sort that out. He looks around the group. Otherwise, you're welcome to do what you want. The main hearing will be in 3 days, but you will be summoned as and when the court are prepared for you. So be prepared to be summoned by guards wherever you may be. If you've taken to going to sleep or visiting a friend within the city, you are liable still to be collected regardless of the hour to talk with them if they are prepared to talk with you. And this isn't something you can just put on hold either. So if you're in the middle of getting a tattoo or some other business, then they won't hesitate to, well, they'll take you with them, regardless of whatever situation it may be.
Kirv puts her hand up.
Yes?
What if I'm on the loo?
That being a fairly short activity, they'll give you a little bit of time.
How kind.
Also, should any of you wish to, because all of you are here for this court hearing, over the next 3 days you will be housed here in the main court building. There have been rooms that have been set up for you. There are refreshments and food should you wish to partake in them each day, and should you need it, there are more expensive drinks and foods should you be interested as well, which you can purchase from the court itself. Although, if you ask me, it's probably cheaper to go out and get your own. Additionally, he looks to you, Kat. Note that depending on their current situation, they may want to... Apprehend is a bit strong, but they may call upon you to be isolated earlier so that they can... in preparation for them discussing with you. So that if the surprise of it all were to trigger something, then at the very least it won't be in the city.
Will Kat have an adult with her?
Hello.
Yes, that would be Theamar. Theamar will be the acting guiding parent in this instance. And hello, my name is it kind of looks to you, Romulus. I'm Progo Stingwort. I'm just running through everybody's the court stuff with everyone. If you have any questions about it, you may ask me, and I'll go through things again. Long and short of it is, be blunt. If you skirt around the words or the question, the court will assume the worst answer because you're not being truthful, and they will speak to each of you individually over the next 3 days. Carvern, Khmer, and Nexor have all given their testimonies already regarding the situation, and this individual seems to be your guide in the legal proceedings.
Want this over.
I
Make sure
understand.
it's over.
I understand that. It will go by quicker than you think. But you're all welcome to do what you want. You're welcome to stay within the city and wander its streets and go to any of the businesses if you have things you wish to achieve. Just know that the guards who are keeping an eye on the entrances and exits to the city are aware of your appearances along with your magical abilities and tendencies, meaning that if you try to disguise yourself and leave, you will be incarcerated until the trial is concluded.
Remind me, what's the name of the city again?
Gonaldur.
Is this place like known for anything in particular?
This would be a history check.
Okie dokie.
I assume you're
currently
not
loading
in
in.
tabletop yet. Oh, you're loading in. Okay,
Yes, well,
perfect.
Feel free to roll this one for me, because my history is not the greatest.
Natural 1. No, you've never heard of the place.
I assume that no, I can't ask that. That would be stupid.
No, by all means. Any question is a good question, unless kind of looks at Kirv. Except for, some.
Oh, I'm certain I could give a run for their money. But no, I only wish to know, is there presumably this is going to be all according to the laws of this land and place, and there can be individual laws of cities dependent on their circumstance.
For the most
are there
part,
any particular things we should be aware of?
No. The only things that I would note is this. It's more of a social faux pas if you're not familiar with it. No tugging another dwarf's beard unless you are a dwarf. Feel free to compliment them on their beard. That is all right. And should you cut a dwarf's hair within a dwarven city, that is considered a capital offense, unless you are a certified barber.
Now, when you say cut, does that mean cut specifically with a bladed implement, or let's say someone has lit a candle, for example, and someone walks by and their beard catches fire and thus is shortened?
It would be
Obviously,
more of
they
a,
have not
if it
caused
was, let's say that you were to look at your weapons, swing your weapon and accidentally cut the beard of another dwarf, that would be brought to trial as well. If you did it intentionally, then that would be a capital offense. If you had lit a candle and that individual had walked past and their beard had caught fire, that would be more considered an accident, and there might be, depending on the situation, a trial, but it's unlikely. It's more likely to just be a pay them a gold piece for the ointments they'll need. So
any intentional infringement on beard length and propriety is highest concern.
Yes.
And, okay, understood.
What are you planning, Romulus?
I'm so confused.
I am not planning anything in that regard. However, I feel that it is only appropriate to ascertain every circumstantial bit of evidence as to what can occur to ensure there are no issues. If, for example, I was to be involved in an otherwise legal fight, however, it ended up causing harm to a beard, this could be something where I would end up implicated without my knowledge if I had not clarified.
That is fair. Yes. That would be perfectly fine. If you're looking for any navigations around the city as well, all of the guards generally know the ins and outs of their layer, depending on where you are. We are currently on the 4th layer, known as the Civilians' Quarter. If you're looking for anything in particular, there is the first quarter is known, or the first layer is known as the Central Ward, followed by the Mercantile District, Crafters' Sanctuary, the Civilians' Quarter, which we are on, and then the Delving Cavity, should you wish to go mining or exploring. But note that that one is currently being guarded for your leave on the city, should you go too far.
I have... Oh, after you.
One last thing. So, I
Yes.
always have an elemental following me. Where do we stand on elementals?
That's fine.
Okay, good.
No, that's perfectly fine. We have plenty of geomantic summons that otherwise exist throughout the city itself. Most of them are sentinels and will be keeping an eye. So long as your elemental does not attack anyone, I do not see there being an issue. If anybody gives you any form of harassment or issues while you are around in the city, for the most part, do not retaliate. Just ignore them. They're probably drunk. But if they give you extensive harassment, just seek out the nearest guard and they'll deal with the issue. If the guards give you issue, let us know. They should have a ID number on their uniform.
Are there any laws around matrimony occurring in unique manners in the local culture?
Such as you wanting to get married to some of your party members?
No. It is quite the opposite. Are there any features in the
Wants to
local
divorce?
culture where one who is unaware of the local culture could accidentally stumble into an engagement or marriage without knowing? For example, I understand that there is a species of Aarakocra, penguin Aarakocra, or whatever word we use in this world that I don't know off the top of my head, whereby if you offer them a pebble, they consider it a proposal, and as such, trading of crystals has been fraught with misunderstanding, and I'm wanting to ascertain any such.
To a certain degree, if you are given a series of medallions that are attached to a length of hair, then that is more of a traditional rite of, I wouldn't go so far as to say matrimony, but partnership in intimate actions would be what that would account to. Marriage from there on and marital status would be developed further through the official channels. So that you can't get accidentally married, but you could end up finding yourself with a active partner in the city.
Understood. I was just going to turn to everyone. I want all of you to take note of that. All right?
Can Kirv put her sort of hand on Romulus's back and say, okay, I get a feeling you're getting nervous. You talk a lot when you're nervous. I think we should stop talking to the man for now. I'm sure he's very busy.
You sure? Because I could just do this for the next 3 hours.
I know.
As could I. I have plenty that, if you have more questions, I can answer as much as need be, but time is limited for you. You only have 2 or 3 days within the city before you may potentially be called to court, and now that you have arrived, I imagine a messenger has been put forward to let them know that you are here.
Right. Is the court the only circumstance we will have to interact with the council, judges?
The spokespeople, yes. That will be the time when you do. They'll ask you various questions, you'll be given a chance to speak on your testimony, and go from there.
Right. So it's not a circumstance whereby we will interact at other points in time.
No.
Okay.
It'll be purely under that. If you do happen to come across them while you are around in the city, they will most likely avoid you for the sake of biases, and they will, other than most likely avoiding you, they probably won't interact with you beyond much, unless there is something that they wish to tell you about if it is of utmost importance that they can't share through other means. But that would
Understood.
be rare.
Hmm.
If they
Okay.
approach us, are we obliged to avoid them?
You can interact with them if you wish, but it is also entirely up to you.
Okay, thank you. Right, I believe that is all questions I can reasonably have that are not, by some degree, silly.
Understood. Well, in which case, if there are no further questions, looks around your group.
No.
No? Wonderful.
Don't think so for now.
One last thing.
Go for it.
Kat is currently looking at. Fuck, wrong voice. Kat's looking into training. Is there anywhere here that would be good for that?
Training as in magic or training as in martial
Sparring.
arts and that sort of thing? Sparring. Let me see. And they go over and they have a quick look through what looks to be a field guide to Gomuldur. And you can see there are a lot of post-it notes and other things that are sticking out of it. With a quick glance from some of you, you note that if any of you do understand Dwarvish.
Oh,
No.
I do.
You do? Yeah.
I think I do because of the belt.
Yes, I think you do because of the bell, yeah. So you and Romulus both note that there are, on some of the post-it notes and kind of the labels that are sticking out, there are ones which are noting like potential date night sort of things that are sticking out. So they have
Ooh.
personalized this journal with like noting locations and stuff where they could go or places they like. There are also ones where they have like customizedly customizedly drawn a like 1 out of 5 review sort of thing on it. There's like I'm never going back here again, got food poisoning, that sort of thing. Which, you know, for a dwarf is something.
Yeah.
There's been a raw rat or something in the stew.
Ugh.
No, raw rat would have been fine.
Yeah,
This,
something much worse.
the-
But yeah,
I just imagine this stuff must be like literally toxic to humans.
yeah.
I'll stay well away then.
They
Radioactive?
put uranium in the stew because they thought it made it look a cool color, and well, you know, it made a few of the dwarves sick. So, he goes through and goes, if you're looking for something of that, the central ward would probably be the best place, the first layer. There are a few sparring grounds there, training areas if you're looking to be taught by a tutor. Otherwise, if you're just looking to practice, that would probably be one of the best places because it's otherwise overwatched and looked over by professionals. So if there are any issues, they'll intervene, and they also have medics on site if anything goes poorly. If you're looking for places for magical training, I would recommend going to the college grounds on the Crafters Sanctuary. There is a large college and university there that specializes in working on enchantments and different types of magic. They have a large library as well. But they also have a grounds for sparring or dueling in magical sense.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's all right. But yes, those would be the areas I would recommend. Outside of that, you can find most things in Gomuldur.
Thank you.
So, one last thing before you head off. When we go into the court, are they going to try and take our weapons and stuff?
No.
Okay, good.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine keeping your weapons on your person. Just know that if you point a weapon at one of the individuals, you will be executed on sight.
Very good. Okay. Noted.
Just gonna. Okay. Is Mortar here?
No, Dan's not currently here.
Okay.
Mortar's with you. Dan's not.
Yeah. No, I knew Dan wasn't here. I'm like Mortar. Okay.
Yeah.
This is just going to, as said, just lean over a little bit and look at Mortar.
No, that's fair. I will reiterate that to Dan. So in the and should somebody end up pointing their weapon, wherever that be, at one of them, then I will ask if this is an action they want to do, because this will just be a your character is dead situation. Because as fun as it would be to make you fight a lot of skilled warriors and geomantic summons, I don't think you're getting out of this situation. Not without significant teleportation and magical means to escape, at which point your entire party becomes fugitives. So, and that can only go poorly when you're going up against your grandfather. So, someone who just happens to know the gate spell and can pick you off one at a time. Yeah, that could happen. But with that's all a hypothetical situation that goes through Romulus's head real quick, and then oh, okay. Make sure Mortar doesn't point his gun at the officials. Noted.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. Well, if there's anything you wish to do, or any further questions you wish to ask, you know where to find me. If you're looking for your rooms, they will be on the next floor up. There are staircases all over the place. I'm sure you won't get lost. And if you do, just ask somebody. They'll usually point you in the right direction. And if you're looking for the bar, it'll be below us.
Would you say that you know pretty much every location in the city of importance?
Most. Not all. I haven't been everywhere, but I have been here a long time.
Not to be presumptuous, but I assume that there are some significantly skilled smiths.
Oh, of course.
Here.
Yes. There's entire blacksmiths, weaponsmiths, armor smiths, farriers, and all kinds of individuals who work with various metals or ores. There are individuals who work with wood and stone. You've got carpenters, you've got masons, you've got whittlers, you've got fletchers. Anything that could be made with skill, you can pretty much assume that they would have tried something. Those who work with wood are a bit more few and far between, given we are underground. You'll find more of them in one of the northern dwarven cities. I believe you'd have to head to either Boldum or Hamgari to get that sort of thing, because they're more surface dwellers. Hamgari is usually best for wood. But you'll still get plenty of craftsmen around here, so if there's any crafters you're looking for, you will find it here.
Are there any individuals that are capable of taking a enchanted weapon and changing its form whilst retaining its enchantment and structure and competence? Quality.
So transferring one enchantment to a new item?
Not necessarily to a new item, but transforming the item into another form permanently.
That would be doable. There are specific crystal tuner guilds that would work for this sort of thing. They would be able to transfer the enchantment off of the item into a crystal, alter the item using the original materials, and then transfer the enchantment back. It would be a lengthy process, but it would be doable.
Lengthy as in...
It would probably take about 5 days, maybe up to a week if there are any complications, and depending on how big the enchantment is. For reference, depending on the tier of the item, so for example, common being tier 1, it would take 1 day to remove it, and then it would need to be changed, and then 1 day to put it back. If it's, say, for example, a rare item, which is tier 3, it would take 3 days to remove it, change the item, and 3 days to put it back on.
Basically, all I'm looking for is a way to technically turn Stagger into one of the things that'll work for Polearm Master. So turning it into a technical polearm, because currently I don't believe it counts.
No, it just has the reach, and it's a greatsword. That will adjust damage dice, and that will reduce it.
I'm just looking for my options.
Yeah. No, it's an option. And remind me, Stagger is a very rare item, isn't it?
Yes. Let me look it up.
If we didn't write it down, I believe it's a very rare item just because of what it does. And if I remember correctly, its cost was like 25,000, which is a very rare item, but you sold the potential patent for making ghost steel to the guy.
So it's excellent quality, a +1 half blade,
Yep.
and of course it has the auto hits,
Auto hit and
and
improved crit. Yeah, so that was a
improved damage and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So that
So
would be
yes, it is a very
move.
bloody good weapon.
So it's a very rare weapon. So that would take 4 days to remove or to store the enchantment, change the item itself, and then 4 days to put it back on. So you'd be looking at a minimum of 9 days.
Hmm.
But it is possible.
Fair enough, and it would retain all of its qualities, just in a different form.
So it would retain. So the excellent quality is tied to the weapon. The +1, the improved critical, and the auto crit are stacked with the enchantment.
Hmm.
So the
But
quality of
since
the
it
weapon
would be
could
the
change.
same, the quality of the weapon could change. Oh, that one's unideal. How likely is it to change?
Depends on the craftsman and
In
how
a
much you pay.
negative sense. Okay.
If you pay Bill the blacksmith, who has only just started, isn't guild certified, and will charge you 2 gold to change the weapon, you'll
Okay,
probably
yeah,
end up
no.
with a poor quality one, as opposed to if you were to go to a guild certified master craftsman.
Is excellent quality the highest quality possible?
That I will have to double check. I believe perfect is above it, but I believe.
But just imagine we go all the fucking way to bloody Maverick and ask him to make us a fucking thing.
Corpex to campaign 1, yeah.
I mean, probably we could just go to Sasha.
Should be
Yeah,
there. Should be
probably.
somewhere. Okay, so excellent is +1 to the damage die size. So half blade is usually 2d4, so that would go to. Oh no, so it is 2d4, yeah. So that goes up to 2d6. Then you roll 2 dice for. You roll 2 damage die and you take the higher, so has advantage on the damage die. Perfect is it also adds an additional +1 to your damage and to hit.
Damn. Nice.
So crude is the lowest, which is a -1 and disadvantage. Simple is disadvantage on damage. Standard is nothing. Good is advantage on the damage. Excellent is increase in dice size for damage and advantage on the damage dice. And then perfect is all of that plus an additional +1 to hit and AC and damage. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okie dokie.
For reference on what
see-
it would take, just gonna double check.
So
the
an
effort it would
excellent
take.
quality halberd would be 1d12 damage die?
Yes, it'd be a 1d12 damage die. You would roll it with advantage, and if it was perfect, it would be
+1 on the attack. and
+1
the
to attack
damage.
and damage. Yeah.
Okay, I mean this is very reasonable.
Yeah. There would still be the cost in mind in regards to the handiwork and working with the tuners and the guild stuff. It would increase the cost slightly because it is coming from a guild, but it would be doable. Price-wise, I'll have to figure that one out. I'll need to go and work through the calculator to see how much it would come to, but that is something that I can do either off-stream or during the break. You could also get it styled as well if you wanted to. But again, something else to discuss. So, but that would be doable. It would take some time, but you'd hear more from them and what they want to do. For the time being, I recommend that you settle in, and whatever luggage or things you would like to leave in your room, go ahead and do so. And if there's any other places you were intending to visit, you visit them today, because it's most likely that you're going to start getting called to court today. And otherwise turns to Theomar and more looks at Kat. You'll probably be asked on the final day the various questions you might have to answer. But it's also possible that because you're here, they might ask you these questions sooner if they feel like they're going to reach a verdict sooner.
Okay, that's fine. That's the unknown is always a fun thing, but
Yes.
that's not a problem.
It'll be fine. Don't you worry about it. Anyway, hope the rest of you are doing alright, and like your friend said, I will get back to my work. I still have to go through all the manuscripts and make sure there aren't any things that will be of note that need to be brought up in questions, or that, well, the interrogators might bring up. They have a more scary name than they actually are. Don't worry about them.
That's good to know. All right then. Should we all go get settled in then? And then we can figure out how to make the most of our time here.
Hmm,
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
sounds good to me.
Okay.
So we head upstairs to the rooms.
Yes. So, heading upstairs, finding your way. Who would like to make the survival check? To try and find your
I mean,
rooms.
I do love to make survival checks.
Go for it. Mortar is going to excuse himself and go with the other of Theomar's guards to the specialist, as he seems to be wanting to do that.
Oh, my Steam still isn't working. Oh, okay.
I will roll.
It's a +5.
Natural 1 again. Somebody else
Oh
roll
my
for him.
gosh.
You're cursed.
Hurry up and get in here before court starts, preferably.
What?
Did you not hear me say my Steam isn't working?
Make
No.
it work.
Make it work. Beg
Vic.
to the Steam gods
Hey,
if you
hey,
have to.
Hey, Simon, you're usually the one who gets designated to roll the Harlan stuff. Why don't you just re-roll? And he, for some reason, has advantage because... reasons.
He asked a lot of questions and therefore prepared himself for navigation.
Exactly. There we
go.
go. You roll a natural 1 as well, Harlan, I'm sorry. Nope, that's not.
12.
That's
No,
a
it's
17 total. So, relatively easily, having asked all the questions of where to go, you head upstairs and you do find your rooms. There are guards currently waiting outside as if expecting your arrival at some point. As you arrive, they kind of let you in, and you are all privy to your own chambers. You don't have to stay as a group, although they are spacious enough that you can all be in one room should you want to, with a Lehman's tiny hut. The rooms are outfitted with soft stone beds, so stone bed frame, but with cotton blankets and mattresses and such. There are bathing chambers for respective each of you, or en suites, along with a kind of a small nook to one corner, which would allow you to sit and read, or possibly have a chat if you have one of your other individuals over. It's not what I would call luxury, but it is roomy.
Beau goes straight for the bath. He probably hasn't had a bath in like a couple of weeks.
Oh, when you were in the Magnificent Mansion from last session, you were given special lotions, hair conditioner, and everything else along with the rest of the group, so you have been able to have like a proper snazzy bath and came out all sparkly.
Okay, he still goes to the bath because it will probably. He's not used to having baths so often, so
Yeah, that's fair.
he's
Oh,
taking
another one.
advantage of it.
Make the most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Valid.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, you go for a bath. Is there anything any of you would like to do in particular to begin with? Or meet up to
I
discuss
want
your
to-
plan?
We can meet up and everyone meet back up and discuss what people want to do.
Yeah. I think it would be good to have a talk with Beau
He's in the bath.
once he gets out the bath. Once he gets out the bath.
So have a chat with Beau. Everybody sat in like a foyer room, all like discussing this, and then we just cut to Beau just sat in a bath with a rubber ducky and just going whack whack, just moving it across the
Yeah.
water.
Cigarette in mouth. He's got his
Like,
got his whiskey flask in hand as well, and he's like, "Ah, this is the life."
And then we cut back to the rest of the party.
that's not going to be hanging around. I want to go find a blacksmith.
I just look at Cat hurt.
You don't have any equipment here. I need some bands for my hair. I need to get it plaited, and I can't maintain it. So Need to find a way of keeping it maintained for long periods of time.
I swear it's not getting any shorter.
This is
No.
fair.
So, if you would like to join, by all means, but I need to find one and hopefully get everything sorted before I end up having to go to court.
I wanna stress, I do in fact have smith's tools. The only thing I'm missing is a forge.
Well, maybe they'll let you use a forge here.
Maybe. Anyway, go.
Are you
Go.
coming?
No,
mentioned
no,
forge,
no. You want to go to another blacksmith, so you do that. Harumph. No, I actually have other things I was planning on doing, so it's all chill.
So what is everyone else doing before I head off?
I think that Romulus would like to knock on Kirv's door, if that is at all possible.
You warm it up
Of
in the
course.
foyer, if that
Oh,
helps.
no, aren't we all in the foyer?
I thought that kind of fell apart when Beau was having the bath.
Oh no,
the
Beau's
bath.
just having a bath. The rest of you warm it up in the foyer.
Yeah.
We
Well,
can
of
talk to
course.
Beau afterwards.
Wouldn't have to be awkward. I'm just in the bar.
Give him the quick
God, you know what? Romulus would be so tempted to just like sit in there, like on the toilet but not using it. You know.
Yeah.
Just having
yeah.
a chat. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna quickly be right back. You carry on.
DM?
So we are DM-less. Oh my god.
What
It's
can we
gone
do?
for
What
a
can we do? Hijinks.
Well, since there's no one to tell me no, Romulus is going to start doing like salmon lifting in a conveniently present gym that's somehow connected to the parlor. You know what the salmon bowl is? Like you get you get like a metal bar and like it hooks onto like these different hooks. It's called like a salmon ladder, and
Yeah.
basically you
Yeah.
pull yourself up and then like reach up with the bar to grab the next set of hooks. So you're pulling yourself up higher and higher. And Romulus is just doing that in the background.
Nice.
Oh, I
Uh,
thought it was like salmon sushi that you have to lift up to your mouth every time. Fancy sushi. Anyway, Romulus. Hi.
Hello. I had a bit of a well, as I'm sure you're aware, you saw me and Mortar had a bit of a spar, and I don't believe that Mortar has taken it particularly well. And
Yes.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, and I know you two are close. So I thought it would be a good idea to talk to you about it before I put my hoof in my mouth.
On 2 occasions now in the last week, Mortar has mentioned to me that he doesn't feel taken seriously.
I suppose I can believe that. I perhaps disagree with it, but I can believe that that is how he views the circumstance. And
If I may, and this is just me observing, would you agree if I said that you, if anyone, were the leader of this group, it would be you?
oh no, it's 100% Vinny. I'm the dad of the group. It's a very different situation. You see,
Is
Vinny
it?
tells us what to do, and I am the stoic one in the background that nods approvingly when someone does well. Or I cook the food, or I make sure that everyone's clothes are darned. Yes, it's me who's been knitting up the socks. Um,
Oh.
but I on a very like out of character thing, Romulus doesn't consider Romulus the leader.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would not consider myself a leader of the party. I think I hold a significant position, but I think that we all do. Cat is, well, deeply cursed, but also incredibly smart in ways that the rest of us are
No.
yes, just not.
Mhm.
Vinny is capable, competent, charismatic, lots of words that begin with C. Mortar is very, very good at killing things and has powers of perception that all of the rest of us lack.
I agree.
You have a myriad of abilities available to you, of which I do not even begin to guess at the depths of, and you have a chaotic nature to you, often finding inspiration in roundabout ways that I can't even begin to predict, and making the party the better for it. And this Beau fellow seems to be rather competent at the shooting of things. But I think we all play a part, but I do not consider myself to have a leading role, excepting where it involves Cat's well-being, at which point I will step in. But that is about it. Do you think that Mortar sees me in that sort of light, or thinks I see myself in that sort of light?
I would say, just as you were talking about Kirv very highly, I think Kirv does give you sort of the big eyes, and sort of her arms fall to her sides and sort of a positive reinforcement.
What the fuck?
And especially as I know, were you here? Yeah, I think you must have been here. She was directly called not special just yesterday or today. I don't even know in D&D times. But
Today.
that did mean a lot to her. She won't say that, but you can see it on her face.
Fair enough. Well, I
To
think
your
Romulus is
question.
going to like take a moment and just like put a little hand on your shoulder and just, not say anything, but just rest it there gently. Of like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
I can't tell you exactly what's going on in Mortar's brain. We are perhaps close, but
No, I don't expect you to know
I
everything.
think part of his charm is that he's unexpected. However, I see that when it comes to conflict, when we find ourselves in trouble, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would... Sorry, just the D&D blip. Um,
And speak of the devil and
look at the devil,
well,
he's a coming. We said his name too many times. When it comes to conflict, would you agree that you are the one ultimately deciding when we make the first hit?
sometimes I think I often act rashly, or I act in defense of others, which can oftentimes lead to me taking the first hit.
And
Or
what would happen if someone tried to stop you from doing that?
would depend on their reasons. If I was caught in a rage and someone stopped me, perhaps I'd be angry for a moment, but, well, generally people would have good reason. If I am making a mistake, I'd appreciate that I'd been prevented from making a mistake. If, however, someone out of hand did it without thinking things through, and perhaps, lost us, put us in danger because of it, I would be upset. After all, I do not wish any of our party to face danger any more than necessary.
I would say you and him have different judgments. I think he has experienced a lot of the darkness on this plane. And to survive, he has had to act quick, act smart, act first.
Interesting.
And I don't think he's asking to be the leader by any means. I think he merely wants to be heard.
You said earlier that he wants to feel taken seriously, and presumably to a degree wants me to take him seriously.
I won't say that it's just you.
No, but
I
to a
think
degree. He wants to be taken seriously by all of us, but you can't deny that it seems likely that our conflict earlier started this. Fanned the flames, as it were. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Then I do have to disagree with where that feeling is coming from. Because by my reckoning, I have never not taken Mortar seriously. Which is precisely why I was certain that I would win. I will put my best into any fight, and you know that. I take
do.
myself, and I take my opponent very. But I knew I would win in this case because I do not believe that Mortar takes Mortar seriously.
Perhaps he's waiting for someone else to do it first.
You can't live your life relying on other people. Not like that. You need to find your own confidence, and you need to find your own creed, and you need to stick to it. If his creed is shoot first, shoot fast, and get the job done, then all the more reason for it. But if he goes into a fight thinking, I'm going to lose or I'm not going to win, then more often than not, that's exactly what will happen. I went into that fight knowing I would win because I knew that if I held that in my heart, I was going to win, and damn the consequences. I think if Mortar learnt something similar, I think he could take any of us down. But this isn't just about combat. I don't know what taking him seriously looks like in his eyes. That is to say, I haven't considered myself as not taking him seriously, so I need to know what he thinks that would look like so that I can provide that for him in future. But I don't know if he knows that.
Kirv nods, and she thinks. He's been looking for ways to contact the guy who took over him. He thinks the more he knows, the better. And I agree with him. Perhaps you can help. And don't dismiss it as too dangerous, because this is him. This is his body, his mind.
I'm not going to dismiss it as too dangerous. I am going to say that it is dangerous. But
All
that's
of this is
more
dangerous.
Kirv, I'm not saying it isn't. All I'm saying is that all the more reason for us to go about it the right way, working together. It's not something I would dismiss out of hand. It is something I would actively like to help with, and I think some of the others would like to help with as well.
And who decides what the right way is?
All of us. Together. Like a team. I think Romulus is going to put I don't know that Romulus ever took his hand off of your shoulder, or if he did, it wasn't far away, and I think he puts it back on, and he looks into your eyes for a second, Kirv. You're not alone anymore, Kirv. And neither is Mortar. If we talk, we can work together. If we work together, I think we can overcome things that we cannot overcome alone. Do you understand?
You understand that when you speak like this, it comes across as demeaning.
I didn't, but I apologize. I will try and do better. Sorry.
It was out of character. I'm fine. I just thought Kirv would say that.
I did not intend it to be demeaning.
I know.
Just seemed inclined to... I don't think necessarily that we'll always have the right answer, but I think if we work together, we've got a better chance of finding it than we do alone. Because, well, I know my weaknesses, and I think we all know each other's weaknesses, and I think we help cover those.
I agree that we need to work as a team, listening to all of us.
Including Mortar.
Of
Because I know
course.
that he doesn't... I want to make sure that he knows that. And I will make sure that he knows that going forward.
I'm no
We are-
stranger to people rubbing each other the wrong way. I'm one of 6 siblings, and we almost never agree on anything.
Sorry, just one moment. I'm getting multiple calls from family members, so I'm a little concerned. Back in a moment.
Okay,
That's all right.
let me monologue. Oh, whoa. Being so far from home. Okay, I'm bored.
Whoa! So, well, during this moment, we'll go to Cat, I think.
Mhm.
So, Cat, you wandered off to the blacksmiths. You are being followed by... Yep, you're being followed by Thamar and Hearn. In case anything happens.
Terador?
Yes, and Terador. Terador's going with as well.
Oh, cool. Sweet. Mhm. Cool. I am looking for a blacksmith.
Okay. You wander around because, well, Hearn will probably be the best in survival here, so I'm going to roll for Hearn. Alright, that's not terrible. And that is a... Well, actually, what's your survival?
My survival is +3.
Okay, so you have the same roll, so I might as well let you roll.
Okay. That's
Okay.
13.
Never mind, you both got the same. So, as you and Hearn are otherwise having a look around to see what you can see in terms of blacksmiths, you head up to the Crafter's Sanctuary, the third layer of Gomulder, and as you begin to reach it, you can hear the sound of crafting going about. You hear the sound of metal being worked, smelted, forged, bent into shape, tempered. You hear the sound of coin being changing hands as individuals are commissioning various pieces or getting their day's pay for the work that they're doing. You see their individuals making what looks to be racks upon racks of just the same weapon over and over again, a honed and perfected craft to make one thing. You go through and you see that finding a general blacksmith is going to be a lot harder, depending on what you're after. It seems like people are going to be good at making one thing, and there seems to be craftsmen making just goblets. There are some making just daggers. There are others making just warhammers. Others making specific pieces of a multi-piece suit of armor, making just the vambraces or the greaves for the actual armor itself. There is a lot of individuals working on making just one thing. So you find the right place. You don't find the right craftsman necessarily.
Okay, I am. You know, I am. I have eyes in the skies. I'm gonna ask Jeff. Jeff, see if you can find someone, and I'm just gonna sort of draw a quick little doodle in the book, something that makes something look like these, just tubes.
Okay.
Never mind, I'm gonna look through his eyes too, but I'm
Yep.
gonna send him up, and he has a visual idea of what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Roll me a d10.
A D10.
The green one.
Oh, very good. Good, because I was looking at all of them and I was contemplating my life.
7. That's good. You otherwise have a look around. Using Jeff, you kind of have a look around the area a bit more. Go ahead and make me I'll say a perception check with advantage.
Cool. Well, Jeff has advantage, so that's
So that will be where the advantage comes from then.
sick. +3. So
Dirty 20.
20. Dirty.
Nice. Having a look around, you find what you are looking for. As you do so, I'd like you to roll me another d10. If you roll a 7 or higher, it's bad this time.
Oh, heavens.
1. Okay,
1.
no, you're fine. Okay. As Jeff flies down and lands on your shoulder, you kind of continue on your way. You see Hearn kind of steps over to one side, almost as if to block view of something, before you hear the sound of kind of scurrying off, and you see 2 dwarven kids just kind of running away. You can go ahead and roll me a perception if you want.
Yeah, I gotta work out what he was trying to hide.
I'm back.
Welcome
What
back.
was it I was rolling?
Perception.
Perception. That is a 16 plus That'd be 15 with cat's perception.
15 with cat's perception. Okay. One of the kids is holding a slingshot.
Oh!
You get a sense they were going to try. They were going to try and shoot Jeff out of the sky. I'd already rolled, and they got a 19, so Jeff would be dead right now. But Hearn noticed them as Jeff began to land. They followed it down and then began to aim it at you, and Hearn seemed to intervene.
Children trying to declare war. What is wrong with them?
Yeah, Terrador just goes after them, crushes two kids. It's like, no, my court case.
Gosh darn it. Oh, okay. All right, that's not a problem. Cool.
But-
I will head over to what I found.
Okay, you head over and you can see, surprisingly, as you were looking around, there are a lot of dwarf throughout this dwarven city, but there are other individuals as well. Other will look to be Mordant individuals, very much like Mortar. You see they have kind of a much darker complexion of skin, more charcoal black, and a little bit more like inky with kind of these dark purple kind of swirls or veins in their cheeks, or on the tips of their ears, something similar to that. They have a bit more decoration to them. You also note as you go up to this particular individual, what looks to be a black-scaled dragonborn is currently hammering away, and you can see that they are making these bangles, or kind of wrist clamps that would be for more decorative purposes. As you approach,
Hi.
he kind of looks up from what he's working. Hi. You looking to buy some? Mercantile district to be where you
well-
want to get.
Something like this is more looking for to commission some work.
Okay. Commission costs extra, but given that you're here and looks at Hearn and Theomar, looks like you're in good company. Tang!
So I need 7. Basically, I'd show him the picture that I drew. 7 of these, because they're going to be going in my hair to help hold plaits in place. Because we're going to be going on a journey. It's going to be long. I can't maintain my hair, so I need them to be there. They'll be there a long time. So, yeah, I need 7.
I can do that. How thick do you want them? And he hands you what looks to be a series of ring sizes. Much like how you would get for like wedding rings or anything like that for like sizings. These seem to come from what would be nearly the size of a thimble all the way up to about the opening of a goblet in size.
Okay, so Kat takes her arms fully out of her sleeve to try and wrestle with her hair. As she pulls it round to the front, she bunches it up into one column and then uses one of the tentacles to kind of like cut down the middle and split it into 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the circumference of this, diameter of this.
He kind of takes the end of the hair and kind of loops one of the rings through and goes, tight or no?
With a beard, that makes a thing. Yeah, tight. Do it tight. 'Cause I can
Okay.
open it through, then plant through. Yes.
Alright, that one will do. You wanted 7 of these?
Yes, please.
Alright, that'll be 7 gold. I'll get them all built. Wanting any fancy metals at all? Or just basic
no,
iron?
No. Just basic iron will do. How will they? Not knowing if it will iron react with cat's hair over long term.
Not that you believe, no.
Okay, cool. Iron will do. Iron will be absolutely fine.
Alright. I'll get to work,
Okay.
come back at the end of the day, they'll be ready.
Excellent. Thank you. And I will.
What's the name I
Want
should be
pay
putting them
now?
under, by the way? Yes.
Ellie.
Ellie. Right. To put the 7 gold on the counter over there with your name, I'll get things sorted from there.
I don't have 7 gold active, but I have a platinum, so I'll just put a platinum down and just thank you for being so prompt. Just leave it at that.
He nods. Goes about working. He will have those ready by the end of the day.
Excellent. Well, that's all I need to do. Yeah, I don't really need anything else. Maybe some paper and ink, because I need to finish the creation of my rune.
Should be easy enough to pick those sorts of things up, so that'll be alright.
On the way back, I'll
Okay.
grab paper and ink. I will spend 50 gold on either.
Okay.
On both. That'll
So-
drop 10 more platinum.
As we return to Romulus and Kirv, after Romulus's sending stone has just gone off, and there's a bit of conversation between him and the Ice King. You may continue the conversation
Right.
as normal, or we can proceed to other areas depending on where people want to go.
Right. Well. I'm
Oh,
going to...
yeah. Sorry, I was saying about how I'm one of 6. We rub each other the wrong way sometimes. It happens. We'll get through this, Romulus.
I'm going to try and talk to Mortar, but I know that we butt heads, and I suspect this is a conversation that will end up with us getting angry before we get to anything looking like a resolution. Do you have any advice to perhaps prevent that?
Well, I haven't exactly been successful with him so far. I might not be the best to ask, but I'd say keep an open mind. And try not to talk down to him.
I will try. I do not... I understand that I am not the most competent of speakers, and sometimes that results in me saying things incorrectly. But I will
You think
do my
he never
best.
says anything incorrectly?
Oh, I certainly didn't say that. I
But,
also can be a little bit snide.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I appreciate your advice, and I will do my best. Thank you.
Rooting for you.
We shall see. In the meantime,
I'll say at
if
this
you'd ever
time,
like...
Beau, you leave your room. You smell as
Yep.
fresh as a daisy.
Whoop,
Your hair's still a touch damp, but you enjoyed your bath and the time with the rubber duck.
whoop. Wait a minute. I guess, sorry, where were you two having this conversation? Would I see you, or are you hidden, or?
This would be you
Don't
probably
believe
come
we're
out of
in
your
your
room.
bathroom.
There's like a little... Yeah, they're in your bathroom. No, this is... So outside of
You're
your...
in front of the door the whole time.
Outside of your bedrooms, there's like a circular foyer area. So basically, best way to look at it would be that in order to get to your rooms, you would go from a main corridor area. You'd take a right, kind of like a right or a left down this kind of small hallway into a circular foyer area, and your doors are all on the exterior. So
Okay.
it's kind of like there's only one way in or out of your foyer, which is what's being guarded. But each of your rooms are kind of there.
Yeah.
Oh, and just for Dan's sake, you went
Hello, mate.
with Theomar's guard to see the specialist, who will get to you
sick.
at some point. We're currently just dealing with everybody's individual what they want to try and do.
Awesome. Yeah, 100%. Take your time.
Busy.
Was the
Okay, so sorry, carry on, Beau.
Well, I guess obviously I'll see Romulus and Kirv obviously having a chat. I guess I try and overhear at least a part of it, but I try to make it very obvious I'm not trying to listen.
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
being a little bit
He's
nosy.
just like, how do I spy on them without spying on them?
Yeah, I'm just being a little bit nosy, and then I'm going to be like, right, got my face, and then I'll start walking away.
So to understand, like, it's an initial bit of like, oh, what's going on here, and then going like, oh, I probably shouldn't be listening to
Yeah,
this.
that sounds like a deep conversation.
I think
like-
my insight is high enough. I'd probably notice you at some point.
Yeah.
I feel like
Beau.
Romulus's ears would just twitch, and he'd just be like, "That motherfucker's eavespeaking."
You just see me stood there in my bathrobes. I'm like, hey.
It's like one of those times where you hear two of your colleagues talking, so you walk up to them and then you realise they're talking about you, and it's like, oh, I shouldn't be here, and you turn around and leave.
Right.
Jokes on you, Chris. That's when you deal all in.
Just stand there and
Hey.
listen. Oh, hey, yeah, I know that guy's an
Like-
ass.
Just like, what you talking about?
Oh, Beau, wonderful. I don't think we've had as much of an opportunity to get to know each other, and I think we should try and rectify that. Don't you agree?
Talking to him in his bath towel.
I think you should get changed
think you
first,
mean-
but yes.
I think you mean e-rectify.
Do I need to go and get the smooth jazz music again?
Oh yes.
Look,
Motherfucker's literally been in the group like 5 minutes, and everyone's trying to book him.
Look, it's been so useful. I've played this same track over multiple occasions. One yesterday and
Literally.
once
Oh,
today.
Yeah.
Time to play it again today.
Nice. Hell yeah.
It is stuck in my head now. Now that you played it that once, it is stuck in my head. There you go, yeah.
There it
Yeah.
is.
It's
Oh,
happening.
that's right.
Chris is happening.
Beau
You
and
could
Romulus.
turn-
Who knew?
You could literally turn any like encounter or any discussion, immediately change the tone with that music. Like the most tense,
Oh,
the most tense thing, and then it's just suddenly full on. Just,
Oh, I just need to have an app for it on my phone and just be at work, and if a
Yeah.
customer's giving me grief, just
Yeah.
play that and just be like, hey, and then just watch.
just give him the eyes.
Oh
Give
my
him the eyes,
word.
Chris. Give him the eyes.
I feel like that's too much power to handle, Chris. I'll be honest with you. If you doing that, that's just too much.
There's no such thing.
My boss just walks up. That was
Imagine
inappropriate
having
of you to
power.
do. Speak to me in my office, and then I just play music. He's like, no.
Damn it! How does he keep getting away with it? Yeah. Beau kind of he walks towards Romulus and goes like, "Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I'm going to be part of the group, guess it's only fair." And he goes to kind of like stick a hand out, and then kind of remembers how big you are, and he's like, he's about to crush my hand, but doesn't pull his hand away.
Romulus reaches down and
Oh.
shakes your hand at at whatever is a reasonable amount of force as is appropriate
Yeah.
for a normal handshake. Romulus isn't trying to one up you or anything if you're not
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
one-up
yeah.
Romulus.
I mean, like I said, it was just more. He just, as you casually do, you just go to stick your hand out. Yeah, no problem. Let's get to know each other. And then he's kind of like, wait, actually, no, this guy is a big guy. He's gonna hurt me by accident.
Romulus is careful enough to not do that.
Cool, awesome.
Your
Beau is
hand
grateful for
is uncrushed.
And Beau is very, very grateful for
Right. Well,
that.
first things first. I imagine you probably. Well, if you're just kind of traveling along with us, and obviously you've dealt with some of the circumstances of Kat's situation, perhaps you have some questions.
Yeah, I mean, by the sounds of things, she's got something stuck in her, I guess, is the way I'm kind of gathering it.
Pretty much, yes. It's some sort of possession, cursed demon monstrosity. It's hard to really say what it is, but whatever it is, it was sealed away, and it seems that it is now sealed in Cat. Hence the chain, the chain you might have seen moving around, Cychania.
Yeah.
essentially, we take the cat has been trying to keep it sealed, and this is not always possible,
Yeah, that's some heavy shit.
especially for a girl of her age.
Yeah. Beau takes a puff of a cigarette and goes, I thought my life was shit. Damn.
Oh,
Kirv
don't
audibly
you worry.
laughs at that.
Don't worry. We're all shit here.
That's fine. I'm in the right place then.
Maybe that should be the official group name, just the shits.
The shit.
Oh god.
Yeah. Thoughts for another day.
We're the shit. No, we're just shit.
We're not the shit. We're just shit.
Mhm.
How long have you guys been running around together?
Oh, well. Me and Kat have been hanging around for... Out of character, I want to say me and Kat have been around for about like a year or
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, about I've only known Kat a year, but I took her in as my own. When a child going around adventuring on her own, I had to step in, and we grew close.
And I
Noble
joined
thing of you to
them
do.
a couple months ago when they found me in some slime.
It should be noted the slime was in a spider hole.
Yeah, I had some funny images in my head then, so thank you for clarifying.
No worries. And Vinny, what would that have been, about 4 months ago? It's when, like, the
3, I think it would have been,
campaign
because
started.
you met Kirv not too long afterwards, but I think it had been a month, so it's 3 months since you met Vinny.
For the most part, the rest of us, it's been only a month or two, but we've gotten to know each other quite well. Mortar is our most recent companion. We've known him for about a month at this point. Month and a half? God, time is weird, because obviously we're working on like weeks and weeks and
Yeah.
weeks for every
It's
session.
weird to hear that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you have known Vinny
Maybe it
for...
makes sense how fucked things are.
You have known
I'm
Vinny...
saying,
You have known Vinny for 3.5 months. You have known Kirv for 2 months, and you've known Mortar for a month.
That is wild.
And you
Dan's
guys
been with us a
shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, good to know that you're on track for proceeding 1 year through 1 month through the campaign a year, so that's all right.
yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Christ.
That's fine. You're halfway through this month, so you're on pace to speed up.
Okay.
So what are we expecting with this court case? You guys got any ideas or?
Well, we're going to tell them the truth. I think you're going to have the easiest job of just saying I wasn't there for any of that. But we're going to tell the truth. We're going to make it, we're going to hope that they're reasonable, and if a circumstance occurs where Cat is put in danger, I will fix it.
Beau kind of like pulls a sort of smile, and he goes, he kind of like takes a cigarette out of his mouth, and he goes, "When you say fix, what do you mean?"
Through whatever means are appropriate and necessary.
Awesome. I think we're going to get along.
Apply flex tape.
Do
to
we
Cat.
do we know who's the prosecution or who's doing the prosecuting?
It's not exactly prosecution. It's weird enough more of a panel. Essentially, they are concerned for the danger that Cat poses with the curse she is under. We need to assure them that whilst yes, she is dangerous, she is the best option for this. Because it's impossible to remove it from her safely, as far as we are aware. And any attempt to do so, or any attempt to harm her, could well result in the creature being released.
Yeah, which we definitely don't want.
No. This is, of course, the impersonal side of things. On the personal side of things, if they hurt my daughter, I am going to end them. But I am not supposed to say that in a courtroom.
Yes, on that subject, Dan, Mortar was there when it was mentioned by someone called Progo Stingwort, who seems to be your kind of defendant guide to help you kind of answer the stuff correctly. The basic gist of the court case is answer honestly and bluntly. If you dance around the subject and don't answer or clarify the your comment, they will assume the worst for the incident and move on for the next question. Additionally, you will not be disarmed, but if you point your weapons at any of the individuals within the room, you will be executed on sight.
So, like, regular court.
Yes. Except, I don't...
Regular court is like, you wouldn't necessarily be immediately murdered. No, this is worse than regular court.
This is worse than regular court. It's, oh, I point my gun at them, and then I immediately move to, okay, so Mortar's dead. There is
I don't
no...
think you're allowed to bring a regular gun into a regular court.
No, that is also true. But at the same time, they have magic and other things in play to help with this sort of thing. And with the nature of how serious this matter is, there are extremely powerful guards in play who, the moment you step out of line, I'm not even going to go to combat because there's no reason to.
Love it.
You just die.
You'll just be dead.
Why do I feel like this is a warning directly leveled at me?
This was a warning given to the party. I'm just letting you...
Specifically.
This was a warning I gave to the party.
that.
I'm just letting you know because, in general, if anybody in the party were to do it, I will be asking them to confirm this action because it's basically like hitting a delete button on your character. So...
Yeah, you got it. No worries.
Yeah.
For the heads up.
So if you happen to forget, it's fine. I will be, confirming your choice. Yeah, because it might be
And if
that
you
it
do
doesn't
it,
come up for
it's
another
a
week.
send-off.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you can do it in style.
I would really love to know, like, at what exact type of way in which they try and murder us, because there's a slim chance that I get one redirect.
Keep in mind that they would be talking to each of you individually. You aren't there as a group. So it's not I could redirect this. This is no, you can't because you're not there. That's the reason it would be a delete button, because if your party was there, you might stand a chance at escaping. But given it would be individual questioning, means that there is zero chance of that happening. Because none of you have the teleport or plane shift spell, which is the only way you'd be able to escape. Even then, Force Cage exists. So... And counterspell.
I'm going to stop thinking of this like a puzzle to solve and just try and internalize, don't antagonize.
How do I antagonize them and get away with it?
Yeah, I know.
Bro, it's a warning.
It's not a warning, it's a promise.
It's a warning, not an
It will
invitation.
happen.
Lord.
It's a command function. This is how you destroy your character should you want to.
Control, Alt, Delete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which actually only brings up the task manager, but you know.
So selects mortar.exe, clicks end task, and just poof, he's gone.
Gone.
Anyway, my apologies.
It's fine. I guess Beau will just sort of where I guess he hasn't really got too much ties to this. He'll just say, "I'm just going to chill at the bar. If you guys need anything or whatever, just come find me."
Okay.
So I don't feel like there's really too much I can do at the moment. So
Okay, so you're
yeah,
going to rack up a
he goes and
tag.
gets changed first. Yeah, he'll go and get changed first before anyone says anything. He gets changed,
Mhm.
and then he sits there and he it looks like he's got like a book. It looks like he's sketching as he sat there drinking.
Okay.
Before you go off,
Yeah.
right, I think I need to talk to some other people as well. However, I would very much like to learn more about yourself and, well, get to know you as a person.
Yeah.
Seeing as we seem to be traveling together, it would feel rude of me to not take the time.
Whenever you're ready,
Thank you
I'm an
kindly.
open book.
You don't appear to have any words written on you, so I do not believe you are in fact a book.
It's a saying.
Really? I'd never heard of it.
And with that,
It's a pretty shit one.
Mortar, we'll get to you in just a mo. We'll begin with Vinny, though, because Vinny, is there anything in particular you wanted to be doing, given you haven't interacted with this conversation at all? Or have you been,
Yes,
but you've been
there's
muted?
two. No, I haven't been.
Okay.
There are. At some point, I want to go and see if Carvern is still in the city, but I don't want to do that right away.
Okay.
Because there's two short errands I want to run.
Okay.
First things first, I want to go and try and find a bakery, if there are any in the city.
Yes, there are. Going to the crafting area, I'll say go ahead and make me a survival check, just to see if you find any particularly special bakeries.
Certainly.
I will let you use your con should you wish to, because this does involve sniff. Yeah. So you can use your con instead of wisdom for this, because it will involve sniff.
Okay. Then that's an additional +2, so 19.
19, nice. You do indeed. Otherwise, wandering around, getting to the kind of the crafting sanctuary layer of the city, I'll say you probably travelled with Kat for a little bit, along with Theamar and Hern, before they kind of break off and go towards the blacksmiths and trying to get the metal clasps that Kat needs for her hair, while you head off in a different direction as you find what looks to be a very nice looking kind of regular stone building like the rest of these, but you note that the top of it has been specifically sculpted and shaped to look like a piece of bread. You note that there is a chimney to this where there's kind of light smoke coming out from presumably some form of oven on the inside, and it is shaped like that of an ice cream or wafer ice cream cone shape. And the window has been specifically decorated to look like a pretzel.
Okay, looks promising.
Okay. You head inside.
Okay, I'm going to head in.
Okay. As you head inside, you see a dwarf who is currently busy moving backwards and forwards. There's a little bit of a queue in here, as people do seem to be kind of like ordering and buying various baked goods, and they are currently busy moving to and from, handing off will look to be fresh pastries, pasties, kind of savoury meals, as well as the more sweeter treats that you might expect. You can see that there are kind of freshly put together sandwiches. You can see there are fresh loaves of bread, there are buns, there are cakes, there are all sorts that you might find here. As you join the queue and kind of have a look through, you can see there are little cupcakes that are specifically designed, and from the looks of it, to look like rock and lava, and they seem to be called lava cakes. You see that there are what looks to be these kind of tall cylindrical bits of almost cake or sponge in some form, but you can see that they have been peppered with this kind of black icing along the edges of it, and you can see that it's otherwise called the blacksmith's treat. You move a bit further along the line, and the dwarf behind the counter, kind of a bright orange beard to her, kind of plaits of hair with several medallions kind of mixed within. How can I help you, hun?
Hello, I'm new in town. What do you recommend?
Well, if you're looking, are you looking for sweet, savoury, for you, for somebody else?
Sweet, ideally. I'm looking to try something that's a bit unique to this city.
Well, I'd recommend maybe give Dragon Claws a go. Those are quite nice and usually go down quite well. Other sweet things as well. We otherwise do nut pretzels. Let's see. There's the Miner's Delights. These are quite good. And she goes over and kind of picks up what looks to be this kind of freshly baked set of almost spherical balls that have been pinned onto a skewer with several of them. But they are kind of doughy and bread-like by the looks of it. Each one's got a different filling. Various types. You've got things like jam. You've got things like marmalade. Very good for a sweet treat. You've got cream in some of them as well. But you get to pick and choose if you don't want to buy any of the pre-made ones. Those can be done, and if you do, I'll hand you over to my colleague here, and she'll run you through the lot. Otherwise, just take your pick. There's a lot of iced things, a lot of cakes, but those are probably the three I'd recommend.
All right then.
Yeah,
How about 6 Miner's Delights then?
That sounds perfect for me. Did you want them custom, or did you want the pre-packed box?
I'd like a bit of a range of flavors, so pre-packed should be fine.
That sounds good. 3 gold then, please.
All right. Oh, and do you have any bear claws as well?
We do. Our bear claws are called dragon claws here because they're a little bit bigger than the traditional ones.
Oh, that'll do fine.
How many of them would you like?
And one of them as well.
Understood. And she'll pack one of those. 1 silver for that.
Okay, I'll hand over 3 gold and 1 silver.
Okay. Alright, she takes that and packs it all into kind of a simple paper wrapping for the box and hands you the bear claw with a kind of almost like just a tissue to hold it with. Thank you very much. Do you want anything else? Yeah. Free to come by. We're open most of the day.
Excellent. I might just do that, actually. But for now, thank you.
She smiles and goes to the next customer.
All right, I'll take the Miner's Delights for the party, and I'm going to give the bear claw to Kay.
Mm-hmm. And the bag of holding eats it. Okay.
No.
And you had another errand you said you wanted to run?
Yes, I need to go and find a drink. Something that I think Carvern might like.
Okay. So something like a winery, maybe some spirits. That sort of thing would be more in the mercantile district as opposed to the crafting sanctuary.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. You go for a wander. You eventually find... I'm going to say there's not really a survival check needed to find a liquor store in a dwarven settlement, so... You find a few places. Fine places for fine meads. There are wineries that seem to be more exported ones, and the price of them has been racked up for various elven and human-made wines that don't seem to be common around these parts. There's a lot of spirits, which are a lot cheaper than you would find in most other cities, along with more homebrewed specific ales that might be more akin to that of dwarven tastes.
Okay. I'm going to look for some strong spirits, maybe.
Okay. Looking through, there are quite a few strong spirits. Rums and whiskies tend to be the more popular of the lot, but there are things like gins, plenty of vodka as well, made from various root vegetables for different tastes to most of them. specifically cultivated to add a bit of extra oomph in some cases. But you have the pick of the lot, really. Is there anything? Any specific strong spirit that you might be looking for?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for let's see what vodka's available.
Yeah. Okay. Going through for the vodkas, you see various flavored ones. Some are more fruity. Others are more, for lack of a better term, some are more dry than others. I don't understand the dry business of it all. But there are also some spiced ones that come with little flakes in them, of different kinds. There's one that does catch your attention, which seems to be a vodka with chili flakes in. But might be a gamble, you don't know.
That would give you awful heartburn.
Not if you're a dwarf. Or a tiefling,
True.
for that matter.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It can't. I guess it can't get you drunk if it goes all the way through. No, I'll try and get a nice dry vodka.
Okay. Looking for a bottle, or just like a almost like a small sample bottle for maybe possible gifts, or a regular bottle, or a large one for big presents, or alcoholics.
Just like a regular size bottle, not a Nebuchadnezzar.
So I'll say that will be 4 gold for that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, proper one. You note that if you were to buy these bottles outside of this, it would probably be more like 10 gold for something like this for a hard spirit, but being in a dwarven settlement has its benefits. Spirits are quite a bit cheaper.
Good to know.
So if you ever wanted to get into the trading business, now you know where to start. You did used to run with a trader's caravan, so this would be the kind of knowledge that you'd be understanding as well. But you...
Yeah, true. I mean, I'd have probably picked up a couple of things.
Yeah.
Even if I was mostly working security.
Yeah. So this is something that you'd probably be not necessarily used to, but something that you'd know would be noted, and especially with other crews as well, going from area to area, prices change depending on the abundance of what they've got. But yeah. So those are your 2 errands?
Okay. Yeah. So I'll bring that to Carver when I go see her, and I'm going to go back to the others and hope to try and meet up with them as they're all gathering back up.
Okay. You go ahead and do so. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, Mortar.
Hello.
As your party has finished speaking to Progo in regards to the guide nature of the court case, and with everything going on, you are led elsewhere, shall we say, by Theomar's extra ward, and he seems to be leading you through other sections of the city, seemingly going downwards. The explanation of the city was made that there are 5 layers to the city. You are on the 4th layer, known as the Civilians layer, or the Civilians Quarter, and the one below this is known as the Cavity, which is where mining tends to happen.
Perfect place to dispose of a body.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yep.
Oh fuck. Immediately get twitchy. Yeah, I guess I'll kind of. Is that common knowledge to me, or not really?
You'd know that the Cavity is below. It's where mining would tend to happen. They're kind of series of tunnels. You don't know enough about the city to know necessarily if people would live down here, but from what you were told, there's not much to see down here.
Okay. Guess I'll be kind of a bit confused by this, and I'm not going to comment, but I am just going to kind of just keep my eye on this guy in front of me, just make sure there's nothing funny going on, but I'll keep following.
Okay. You follow on for kind of following on a while. They are wandering and seemingly being they're being quiet. You get the sense that they're purposefully being quiet as to not stand out, as to not annoy you any further. They may have got the message from what they were told. As you arrive at what looks to be a kind of dug into the wall archway. You can see there's a simple lining of script across the top of it. Do you speak Dwarvish?
No.
Okay, so you don't understand what this says. But as you approach, you see the ward otherwise goes up, kind of knocks on the door, and you watch as a slit slides open on the metal door as a voice on the inside. Who is it? I'm here with a friend sent by Theamar. What does he want? Gestures for you to step forward.
Want to know more about a certain symbol that I've been, that seems to have been kind of binded to me or some shit. Apparently it's old. And also, I also wanted to research this, and I'll kind of Black Scorpion in my hand and kind of show it. Be like, want to do some research on this.
You hear the sound of locks being undone from the interior before the iron door is pulled open, and you can see a kind of a short dwar on the other side. You can see clear scars across where a beard should be, and you can see that they are otherwise completely bald on top, being almost like this weird smooth egghead compared to the hairy facial features that you've seen most of the dwar through the city have. Something else of note, which I should also mention, because I think you hadn't arrived yet when I mentioned it, there are Mordant as well within the city.
Ooh, interesting.
But they are not of the same skin color as what you're used to. But they are. You can tell by their eyes that they have kind of this silvery sheen to them, that they are Mordant, but their skin color is more of a dark charcoal black with swirls of purple kind of mixed within. So they are of a different generation, different upbringing to what you would be familiar with, but they are Mordant nonetheless, which means there is a slight kinship here should you wish to act on it at all.
Cool. Yeah, maybe. I'll kind of take note of that. I'll be like, huh, that's weird.
As you step inside with the dwarf kind of welcoming you in, he looks at the ward and goes, "What did you want in for?" And he's like, "Nothing really. I just..." "Well then, stay out." He slams the door enclosed.
Sorry, just before the door closes, can I look back to see if old motherfucker's following me? You know, the invisible dude. If he's following me, I swear.
The invisible dude?
The asshole who took my gun earlier.
Oh, he's the one who led you here.
He's the one that's taken you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him?
I've just misplaced his name, so I haven't been using it. I've been looking for it and can't find it for the life of me.
This would have been the perfect place to bury this.
So if anyone has it and you can let me know, I can write it down in a document where I've got another list of names.
I think we should all stick with old motherfucker.
Nope.
I feel like that should be his name. Oh, motherfucker.
I remember I corrected... Oh, it was... Castor.
Oh, yeah, because it was like Castor the
right,
Ghost.
Yeah. Castor. There we go. So I'm searching for that. I'll probably find it in a document in a minute now that I know what I'm looking for. So, as Castor is otherwise slammed out, the door shutting behind. And with a deft 22, the Dwar locks the door before Castor can do anything about it. He goes, right, come on. And otherwise leads you down a set of stairs in kind of this dark corridor, picking up a crystal lantern off the wall and leading down.
So what is this place?
This is an archive for the Miners' Institutes, but it's also a religious institute for study, and the fact that you've been sent here by Theomar, and the fact that he sent one of his guards, I can only assume, here with you, means that you've got something of relative import and intrigue, which will most likely invite some conspiracy and theory for our various archivists here, so keep them busy and
Okay,
shut up for
well,
a few days.
Your archivists aren't particularly handsy, are they? Because this doesn't really kind of has a bit of a temper.
What does it do?
Well, it nearly killed Theomar when he touched it.
Noted. Right. I'll make sure that there's a no touching warning on them.
Nice.
As he's otherwise going down the staircase, you reach the bottom, and you can see there's a guard there who's currently sat there, halberd kind of in hand, and as you approach, kind of stands up and goes, "Hey, he's fine. He's with me." And the sentinel kind of sits back down, going back to kind of just generally keeping guard. As you head past a desk, he puts the lantern on the top of the desk and wanders around behind it, and you can see him rummage through a little box and throws you a wooden, what looks to be kind of this wooden panel with a bit of string. You otherwise have a look at it, and you see written in common is "Don't touch."
Ah,
Hang that on the end of your gun.
I do so.
Alright, now if anyone touches it, it's on them. Let's go.
I like the way this place operates.
And he leads you further in, travelling by a number of what look to be almost these cylindrical cubicles along the way, almost like with them being cylindrical as opposed to kind of hexagonal shaped, it's almost like a bee's nest with the way that this operates. You can see that there are tiers of these cubicles where there are various Dwar currently working, experimenting. You can see that some are kind of mucking around with metals in ways that you think that could go poorly, and that's probably the reason why. And as you're going through, you're noting that there are kind of these more larger alcoves that are almost like common areas throughout here, where you note there are these linings of bookshelves and large tables. You can see these these notice boards where individuals have pinned different experiments and workings and stuff. Almost all of it is exclusively in Dwarfish, so you can't read most of it. But kind of getting a look over, you can see that there seems to be a lot of working on that goes here. And as you're led further in, a few of the Dwar kind of turn and look at you with like a curiousness. One of them seems to almost take down a note and seems to be beginning to kind of sketch your facial features kind of really quickly, as if taking a note of a stranger who has just entered in.
So Mortar is still wearing his goggles and his mask, so he's kind of like, I mean, all right.
Yeah, he takes down a sketch of this, and you can see that a few individuals have begun following you. Some of them are kind of writing down notes and stuff and so on, before the Dwar who's with you kind of turns around and just goes, "Alright, clear off, this one isn't for you lot." They hesitate for a moment. "I said beat it!" And he throws something from his pocket at them, and you watch as they scatter just like mice being aggravated, before he kind of continues to lead onwards further within. You eventually come to what looks to be a section where there is another iron door in place, and another slit is pulled open as the person escorting you knocks on the door. "This one's to see him. Theomar's orders." "We don't listen to Theomar, though." "No, but he's got something cool." "Yeah, fine then." You hear the door open, and another Dwar in this instance, again similar to this first one, has almost completely clean shaven, scars around the chin and a few on the head. All the other dwarves have had beards and hair and such. These two don't seem to. As the door is pulled open and he goes, right, I'll leave you in his care. Good luck. And he turns around and walks off. You guess that in terms of how big this place is, that was about a 10-minute walk from one entrance to this one. This place is huge.
Fancy house you have here.
Wouldn't go that far as calling it fancy, but it's interesting nonetheless. So, what have you got?
I'll argue that.
Don't
no
touch. No, we don't operate with names.
Hey,
It's
whoa.
too slow.
Easy, pal. My eyes are up here.
Yeah, I don't care about you. What you got?
Uh-huh.
Don't touch. Weird iconography.
I'll pull the gun out and kind of spin it around and kind of hold it out to him.
It says don't touch. I ain't touching that thing.
Oh, no. So you can get a closer look if you wanted to. I mean, you could touch it if you want. I just wouldn't recommend it.
Fair. He pops a monocle down, has a look and goes, so it seems to be religious by the general scripting of this. The make of its enchantment is old. It's old as fuck. Right. This would probably be 2 lefts, 1 right. Right. Follow me. And
right.
with a much quicker pace than the first one, he just kind of sprints off.
I
Traveling.
think Mortar's still like from the aftermath of his and Romulus's brawl. He is kind of fast limping after him.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to check, have we had a rest since then?
Nope.
No.
No.
Oh, lovely.
So fast.
Yeah, so I'm so fucked up.
Yeah.
Right now.
Fast limping through, following this dwarf who is surprisingly fast.
Yeah.
You follow on before they reach what looks to be a kind of a simple wooden door. They knock on the door, and when there's no answer, they begin kicking the door before you hear the sound of a lock on the interior. Just kind of pull open. Another dwarf looks out and goes, "What?" We got an interesting one. Thamar sent this one. He's got some religious iconography. Don't touch. It will hurt you if you touch it. And he's all yours. And they walk off, kind of leaving you and this one dwarf left in place. And he goes, come in.
Is this a shoes off at the leave your shoes by the door kind of deal? Or can I just walk on
couldn't
in?
care less. And he goes in, and you watch as he kind of picks up a cigar off of one side, just kind of puts it in his mouth. You can see there are bits of his beard which are kind of speckled with kind of the salt and pepper look, grey sections to his head. He seems quite old as he wanders in, kind of this large mantle over top, a few ribbons kind of on the shoulders with dwarven script written on them. As he walks into the room, you can see, unlike each of the other cubicles, which were basically bare except for a table, you can see a large bookcase at the back, along with various symbols that have been drawn, a small altar off to one corner, and a lot of runes drawn throughout the room on the walls that kind of faintly glow. You can also note that there is kind of this light glyph work around the spectacles that he wears on his nose. And unlike some of the other dwarves, he has more of this grey, stony exterior with kind of layers of stone dust on his clothes near the shoulders, where he is kind of shedding stone in his older age.
Mortar's kind of like looking around. He's like kind of like looking at the interior, and he's like, "Damn, you're gonna have to give me the sending number of your interior decorator sometime."
Maybe one day. So, what is it you've got? Place it on the desk. I'll have a look.
What? I'll spin it in my hand with a flourish and put it down, and I'll say, "Voila!"
All right. You see he goes over, he twists 2 crystals on either side of the desk, and you watch as these metallic, almost magnetic hands float up, and you watch as they begin to lift the gun. Them not being sentient creatures, they do not have the ability to be affected by the gun, but they are lifted and held in place by these, and kind of slowly begin to turn and twist, kind of at his command as he twists one of the crystals to kind of move it around. So, getting a look at this. Divine in origin, powerful magic, at least. Damn. So you're looking at about 800 years old. So, mid-atrocities. Interesting.
I'm sorry, what? What atrocities?
Oh, the time in history. I'm guessing you probably don't know then. So
Not much of a book learned myself.
So about 600 years ago, there was a time called the Atrocities. Gods fought against gods, and demons and stuff happened. Celestials fought against devils, whatever the case may be. Basically, there was a big war on Malingo, our world, and it tore up the planet to a certain degree, and created a shredding throughout the domain in certain cases. Very little stuff was recovered from then, but there are these things called divine artifacts that were made by the divines in some case or another. Usually they get more called vessels because they contain a lot of power and can grow and gain strength in some case or another. But very few of them are known about, basically. All right.
That is a Christmas song.
It's fucking March, my dude.
All right.
Jamie,
The
I will
server
hunt
is
you
back
down.
up. We have done it.
I'm so sorry.
We have made it.
Yeah, you should sing
Maybe
a
I
real
don't.
Christmas song.
All right. So,
Yeah,
where
wait,
did
no.
you hear up to?
I heard
The
the
atrocities.
Oh.
and then everything went black.
Wow. Okay. That
Honestly.
dramatic
Yeah, it
flare
was
of my
epic.
internet. So yeah.
I think we got to like 600 years or something like that, and then that was when you died.
Yeah.
After you said the atrocities, could you put in a sound effect that goes dun dun dun?
Yeah. I might do that on the recording. If I forget, I might just do the SpongeBob thing one eternity later. One
Nice.
eternity later.
An atrocity later.
So as he's inspecting your gun, kind of having a look at it, he mentions that the gun seems to have been made during the atrocities. You asked the nature of what those were. About
Yeah,
500 to 600 years ago, or to be precise, starting... Let me get my world lore here. My world lore.
Love us some world law. Give me some of that world law.
Right. So you are currently in... World calendar. What year is it? So you are currently in the year 487 AC. Okay. So,
Very high armor.
precisely 487 years ago, the atrocities ended. Prior to then, about 200 or so years before, the atrocities began when celestials, devils, and demons fought against one another, bringing their destruction to Malingo, our world. With their presence and their war began what was known as the shredding. Magic began to be torn apart. Domains in the outer reaches were being flung far and wide, being spread throughout, and not holding particular cohesion with one another. As this happened, various gods or great beasts created champions, bestowing them with artifacts that would grow in strength, and these became known as vessels. Several have been owned and used over the years by various heroes. In the War of Seeking, the particular group who were involved in keeping the Empire safe from our dire history were a group of individuals who had such artifacts. And they are strong and capable. Your artifact seems to be very much the same. A vessel of a, from what I can tell, awakened state.
Is that bad?
Not necessarily. Means that whatever the case may be, it can be improved. The conditions for improving them tend to be more unique the further along the chain you go. Do you remember what caused it to alter, if you were there for when it did that?
Mortar kind of furrows his brow and thinks back to Zaker's, where there was that fight beneath the catacombs, and there was the beads, the artifact that he destroyed, and then he remembered the power that flowed through Black Scorpion as it evolved, allowing it to change into different forms. Yeah, it was. There was something to do with an artifact, a very old item. I destroyed it, kind of haphazardly, and then I was able to do this. And I changed Black Scorpion into Crimson Vulture, and then into Iron Thunder, and then back into Black Scorpion.
As you change it into Crimson Vulture, as you go to change it to Iron Thunder, he goes, wait. And
I'll stop.
Then he has a look across it and he goes, the runes have changed.
Ooh.
Intriguing. And you said there was another one.
Yeah. You want to see?
Go for it.
What? And I'll change it.
Okay. You change it to Iron Thunder and he goes,
Indeed.
fascinating. Each of these forms has its own runes, its own set of pieces, almost.
Like a message?
He goes over and you watch as he gets a few bits of paper and he begins to draw symbols on them. Ones that don't look particularly intriguing by any means, but as you get a look at them, you begin to see a few things come to the surface. You see on Black Scorpion, you see the symbol that you're aware of, the two double triangles with the teardrop shape in the center of it. You see on the next one, Crimson Vulture, what looks to be more of a... I need to get my other document for this. You see what looks to be the... scroll up. There it is. The image of what looks to be two almost like humanoid figures. One is hollow and the other is a solid image. And he kind of lightly shades it in. And as he gets the next one going through to Iron Thunder, you watch as he begins to draw it and then stops. And you can see that it resembles that of a what looks to be that of a skull with a mark on the forehead.
I'll kind of lean over and look at it and go, what you stop for?
You have what's known as a perceiver.
What now?
This wasn't a vessel of the divine, this was a vessel of the Forsaken.
Sorry, Beau, you're gonna have you small... Oh, yeah.
In the atrocities, there were the sides which were looking to protect our world. These were what became known as the modern pantheons, the ones broken down into the 7 great aspects. Meanwhile...
Oh, gods and shit.
Yes, those who lost became what is known as the Forsaken Pantheon, ones who used to rule. Devad is the most commonly known one, harbinger of undeath. His scion breached and used this world for his own malice a number of years ago, back when the War of Seeking took place nearly 50 years ago.
Okay.
This is his symbol.
We ran into some I don't know if like Husk has any relevance to that. Like,
Husk is another Forsaken Pantheon. He is known as the Skeletal Scarab. He is one who has been a thorn in this world's side for generations, and despite his leaving of this world, his echoes still persist. There are
Yeah,
others
we ran
as
into one of
well
them.
within the pantheons as well. Angulos,
Okay.
Glathrak, Maldoras, all of them have pieces within our world still, but none have truly come to bear. This is Davad's symbol, a piece of it all. But as he finishes drawing the outer circles, you watch as he puts them together and almost begins to twist the pieces of paper, and you see overlaid on the back of them, you see a picture of a burning rose, one that you recognize from the weapon that Liam carried. This is the symbol of Romarains.
No, sorry.
Romarains. She is not part of either the modern pantheon or the Forsaken. She is an outcast, ones who did not get involved in the war.
Oh, okay. And is she good?
Good isn't necessarily the word I'd use. Bad is also not a word I'd use. She's driven by impulse, requirement, and indulgement.
Mortar immediately hears those words and he kind of sees himself ticking all of these boxes for his own personality. And he's like, oh.
You also... I would say go ahead and roll me an intelligence check. I'll say make it with advantage, given this is something that that you might already know.
Okay, I have a -2 to this, so let's see how this goes.
That's fine. The DC is 10, but with advantage should be something you might remember. Okay, 10.
No, motherfucker.
You're fine.
Oh, wait, no, I did, yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm so used to disadvantage on these things.
No, that's fine. So, looking
Hey, Mom,
at
I did it.
looking at this symbol and thinking back, you remember the vision of the flayed creature standing before a burning rose and consuming it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring that up. So, hypothetically, it's what was their name again?
The processors.
The processors. Okay. Say, is there like a guide to the Forsaken Pantheon? I mean, I think I may have seen one of them.
Not within easy reach by any means, and if you're seeing visions of one of the Forsaken Pantheon, then you would do well to separate yourself from such an artifact. They will corrupt and change you over time, especially if they get more powerful. And as much as you may feel in control of it, it will control you in time. It's not exactly... And as he goes to say the next sentence, you watch as he freezes in that moment.
Can I detect thoughts to see what he was going to say?
As you go to cast Detect Thoughts, your body is almost locked in place, as if time has halted. You watch...
my eyes widen in panic.
Yeah. As your eyes widen in panic, you see that his expression hasn't changed at all. You're able to do so, and you watch as a shadow kind of creeps across the wall, and you watch as a young child wearing what looks to be a cloak and hood made of kind of this dark negative obsidian. As they step out, and you watch as they tap their finger to kind of his back, and you watch as they begin to pull something from him, and as they do, you watch as they turn and they face you. You don't see anything other than what would be a humanoid face underneath. As they smile and look to you, they put a finger to their lips, and almost as quickly as it started, it stops, and he goes, but, what was I going to say? No, never mind. But this sort of thing it can be dangerous, but if you think that you have it under control, then I don't see a reason why you can't have it.
gonna look at this guy and just. He looks completely oblivious to all this shit that just happened. So I'm gonna go. Okay. So, if or not necessarily, if this weapon is a vestige or a precursor or predecessor or whatever it was, of one of these Forsaken gods, I guess, what do I need to like? Do I need to like keep myself hidden? Or, like, is it likely people are going to be after me?
To a certain degree, the acolytes of them will be. Thankfully, in your case, Devad is a far weaker individual after his downfall, or the downfall of his scion during the War of Seeking. So you've got that going for you. These other symbols, however, kind of runs his fingers over the other two, the one of two figures and the other one with the double triangles and the teardrop. I don't recognize this one, the one with the humanoids, but this is the symbol of what is known as the dripping insanity.
That tracks.
One of Devad's children. From what is understood, very little is understood about them, but they are dangerous.
So, in theory, just putting it out there, asking for a friend. Say maybe, just on the off chance, my friend, who I know very well, and is totally real, say he went for a little sleepwalking session and may potentially have drawn this symbol and maybe driven someone insane from it. Is there potentially a way to have them not have that happen again? Asking for a friend. Again.
No. If whoever your friend is invoked the power of the dripping insanity, then that's not something that can be undone. Notably, the dripping insanity wasn't involved in the war, so it didn't take either sides. Despite being an offspring of one of the Forsaken, it isn't necessarily one of the ones who joined in. A few others in our current pantheon are much like that. Zenfir, for example, is a powerful spider goddess, but she, at the end of the day, betrayed the other Forsakens and joined the other side when that happened. She was one of their children when that happened. But in this instance, like, the Dripping Insanity isn't affiliated with any of them, so it's not necessarily a danger, but it is powerful. And to have a vessel from them is rare. They were said not to have made vessels, which makes an interesting question about the lot. Where did you get this, if I may ask?
Is he talking about the gun?
Yes.
It's a very long story.
I've got a long time to wait. This is an interesting document to take note of, and they kind of go over and they begin to write down a few things on paper.
That may be true, but I'm kind of on the clock. You see, my friend's kind of got a thing, and that aforementioned friend that I mentioned doesn't think that maybe this present moment is the best time to explore this. So, brain check?
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check. You've got a high DC to beat with this one.
Joke's on you. I am very suggestive.
I hope so, because with my natural 20, you have to beat a 35, my friend.
Fuck a natural 20. I'm getting natural 21. Watch this shit. Fuck. That's a 19.
Okay.
Oh.
So, are you ever
I'll take it.
Are you intending to come back at all?
I think in all seriousness, Mortar is kind of looking at the situation. He's seeing this guy's got a lot of knowledge, and he's kind of he saw the shadow child, take something from him, which interrupts his thought process, which I'm assuming is like the name of whatever it is that's, happening and everything. And I think Mortar's kind of, his senses are starting to flare a little bit. And he's kind of getting an idea that maybe this was a very bad idea. Like, this guy, the vibe he's getting is that this guy is becoming more and more entranced by the research of this weapon, and with the whole thing of the dripping insanity and realizing that actually there is no remedy for it, he's kind of like, oh, I should probably go. So I think, in all honesty, Mortar is thinking of literally grabbing the gun and leaving without the intention of coming back.
Okay. As you do this, you watch as he kind of as you say this, he kind of leans forward, and you watch as he puts his hand on the desk, and he goes, "You can't just leave while we're in the middle of there." You watch as his body begins to almost sag, the skin almost pulling down, as if almost akin to having a stroke in this moment. And you see that his hand is fully on top of the symbol of the dripping insanity that he was writing. You rolled a natural 2 to realize that he was doing this.
Oh, fuck.
And you watch as his body begins to sag, and you watch as his body almost begins to soften. Now, for someone made of stone, sagging skin is not a natural thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
And in this instance, you note this. What do you do in that split second on noticing this?
Split second thing, Mortar's remembers, like he was kind of thinking, like, it's irreversible. Like, and he's touched this symbol and it's doing this to him. So he's going to grab grab one of his knives and try to put him out of his misery.
Okay.
He's gonna try to end it quick for him, because he's like, it's by the looks of things, you're already dead. He's not even thinking in this moment, like the ramifications of like what this could mean. He's in like the heart of this place. He's not thinking clear at all. He sees this and instinct kicks in, and he is just going to try to put him out of his misery. He's just going to go for somewhere he knows is going to kill.
Okay. Roll me a wisdom save.
Okay. So I believe I have a +4 to this. Give a check. Yes, +4. Oh no. Okay, +4. That's a 10.
That's a 10. You go to draw one of your knives, and as you do, you see his eyes go wide, almost with fear. And you then feel your hand push it back into your sheath, and you stand up straight. And you're like, wait, I didn't do that. And as you try and force your body to do stuff, the form that is you bows, reaches and takes the gun, puts it back in its holster, and says, "Thank you for your time. We'll take it from here." And turns to leave through the door, leaving the dwarf there, his hand on the symbol, his body kind of slowly sagging.
Fuck.
As you almost watched from a locked-in perspective, as you walk out, you meet with the doorman, and he goes, "Productive, I hope?" Yes, it was, actually. Learned quite a lot. Thank you. Said he wanted to do more research still, but I'll come back another day. Of course. Hey, follow me. And you are led out of the establishment.
Oh my word.
Oh, this is gonna make Kat's conversation with you so much worse.
As you as you leave the establishment, you continue on. You can see that Castor is there, and as Castor sees you, he looks at you and goes, "Right, got everything that you want?" It's like, "Yes, I did. If you head back, I'll find my own way. I have a few things I need to do around town." And Castor nods. "Yeah, all right." And Castor wanders off. As you step over to one section of an alcove within the cavity, and you back up against the wall, and you just hear I know you can still hear me. It's for the best we don't leave a paper trail, all right? You don't want to get your friend Cat in any more trouble.
What's that supposed to mean?
Killing somebody in the archives isn't going to do your friend Cat any good if one of your troop was found for the murder. Your weapons are as they are, they're obvious. But if he just happened to fall over from mysterious causes, but you left him in a good state, then nothing can be done.
He was dying.
And?
It would have been a mercy killing.
And you think that they would
Since when
care? That if it was merciful?
Since when do we give a shit what anybody else thinks?
That is true. Which is why we did what's best for us. We made sure...
That's for you mean?
But if we don't care what they think, then why were you trying to help them? We don't care. Is that not the point? To spread chaos and reap the reward, get the benefits of the wonders of the fruits of this world without having to even commit a single cent or emotion to it. We do what we want because we can. Maybe you should take some time out and think about that for a bit. Or do you want to come back?
Mortar, in this kind of mental space, is kind of gonna... He's almost like... He wants to shout out and to, like, rebel, but he's going like, this is pointless. Whatever this thing... Whatever... is it safe to assume this is Snap, the voice? Or is this someone...
It's familiar. It's in your own voice,
Okay.
so it sounds different. Much like when you hear yourself over a microphone in a recording, it sounds
sure.
different and it sounds discomforting, but it is you.
Hmm. How close are they on our trail?
I would
Do
say...
they know where I am?
They do. And they've sent one of their more intriguing ones after us. I look forward to meeting them face to face. I've been saving up my strength for that.
You're
Which,
not
to
going.
answer your question, is why you haven't seen me in some time. Doesn't mean I'm not here, though.
If you cared so much about our individuality, is there a reason why you didn't want to test your strength against Romulus earlier? Like I was trying to...
Because I'd know I'd
to?
win. And besides, we need him alive, not dead.
Turns out even you need friends then, I guess.
Tools is a term I'd prefer to use, but... well, I'm just looking out for us.
Is there a reason I should trust you? So far, you've hijacked my body, saying that this is for the greater good.
To save you. Would you want to be incarcerated, killed, thrown in a dungeon, otherwise leaving the city to the whims and wishes of that which follows you? Maybe putting Cat in a worse scenario where you and your troop can't be trusted, potentially killing all those that you've called dear. Turning Kirv against you, turning Romulus against you, turning Cat and Vinny and even your newfound friend Beau against you. Is that what you want? To be alone? Because last time I checked, you chose to be with others, did you not? Or am I mistaken by sitting in here and watching everything you do? Quiet, are we?
Let me see the world. Let me see the world through your eyes. I want to see you walk around. How about we drop this little facade? I'll stay here, and I'll watch how you handle this.
Of course.
Let's see how things go.
I look forward to it. And
Mortar will kind of riskily, his intention is, while this alter persona, which he didn't realize he had other than Snap, he's like, okay, this is weird and new. I want to get an idea as to what this Mortar's thought process is, and I want to start trying to delve a little bit deeper into maybe if there are areas of my mind which are almost like cordoned off by this entity, and I want to start trying to like poke at them and figure out what's behind them, if there is any.
okay. As you begin to do that, the entity begins to wander around the city in your body. For the time being, I will play your character, and we will go through at some point in the near future a one-to-one of what happens. But for the stream for now, as the rest of the party goes about preparing for their court, going and buying gifts, getting things for themselves, one thread has all of a sudden flayed without the rest of the party knowing, and it's knitting itself back together in new colours. So, for the stream, sorry for the disturbance during the middle of it, but thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I believe we should be back here next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed.
Thank
I
you,
think so.
and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Right.